Hello, beginner coaches. How are you guys? Happy Saturday. My hair is messy. So welcome to day 10 of our 10-day live training series where we're giving you the strategies, literally the step-by-step principles that we apply in our business to get to our first 10K month. So if you are joining us for the very first time today is day 10, so make sure you jump on back through the feed and rewatch all the other 9 videos. Already, some of the topics that we've covered: how to nail your niche, how to attract clients, how to attract high quality clients. Hi Luke, how are you? Oh Luke, it's so great to get connected. Hi Tim. How to find high quality paying clients, how to stand out as the expert and brand yourself differently in your space. We've also covered how to attract clients through networking. We've talked about how to, I'm looking at my list over here. We've talked about seven beliefs to overcoming self-doubt and winning principles to rock out in your business. Hi Ange. Noah, it's so good to have you here again, Noah. And today, what we're going to be talking about is how to overcome sales objections. So why is it important to overcome sales objections? Well, again, always starting with the mindset, and I hope you don't mind my awesome infographics. I've been spending 2 days with the phenomenal Renee Hasseldine, and we've been turning everything that I know into awesome, cool imagery, which just makes it so much easier to teach you guys. Today, though, we don't have any infographics. Hi, Jenny. No infographics. We're just going to have a conversation, and I'm going to literally just tell you and teach you what I do. I'm going to teach you how I think around sales. So the thing to realize this, guys, is that if you do the groundwork, if you build the foundation in building up the relationship with your buyer, by the time you have the sales conversation, they're already knocking on your window. So, hi Jenny. So let's backtrack. And if you haven't watched the video on Nail Your Niche, make sure you go back to that. So imagine where your client is right now is, I think it's this way, is Island A. Where they want to be is Island C. Now, for them to get from here to there, from Island A to Island C, there's a tollway. And in the middle of the tollway is a toll booth. You, my friend, are the toll booth operator. You know your market so well in the sense that you understand where they want to be, you understand their pain point, you understand their problem, you understand their ideal world better than they do, that you've educated them so well that they see you as the best go-to person, the best expert to solve their problem. So they actually come up to your toll booth and they knock on your window. They're like, hey, can we have a chat? And you're like, hey, sure. And you get out of your toll booth and you start having a conversation with them about, so tell me what's going on for you right now. You talk about the current problem at Island A. And then you ask them, so where do you actually want to be? Like, tell me about what's the change that you're looking to create. They tell you about Island C. And then you ask them this question of, so how can I help you? The biggest mistake I see so many coaches making, and to be honest, business people, is that they, at this stage, when you're meant to ask them, how can I help you? They jump into the conversation too early and they start solving and selling their cool thing or their product to their prospect. Now, human psychology is that if people, we like, as human beings, we like to know that you've asked our permission. We like it because it makes us feel significant. Like when someone asks you, how many times have you noticed this? When someone's like, can I ask you a question? And before they even let you respond, they start asking it. Have you noticed how a little bit, even if it's just the slightest bit, taken back you feel? Because they haven't actually paused and taken the time to acknowledge you for the question that you've asked. Compare it to someone who's actually like, hey, can I ask you a question? And you're like, yeah, of course. And like in that moment, when you've actually been given the opportunity to respond, how much more respected and significant and taken care of and heard do you feel because they've actually paused to hear your response? Who's joined with me now? I've got Jenny and I've got Noah. Great. So both of you, share with me, what's the difference you notice when someone actually pauses and waits for you to respond, as opposed to just jumping in and just assuming that that you'll say yes. Yes, Jenny. Yeah, assuming that what you have is what they want. Yes. So I think that responds to an earlier question. What I was speaking more to was the fact that so often salespeople don't actually go out there and ask, so how can I actually help you? And instead, they just assume that they're the best person to solve their problem. So I never assume. What really shifted for me in my sales results and also just in my client onboarding experience was I always ask them, so tell me, how can I help you? So you've told me this is where you're at now. This is where you want to be. So tell me, how can I help you? Like, what do you need right now? And what you do in that process is they end up telling you all the reasons why they need you, and they end up solving any objections that they may have around you by answering. As opposed to, let's contrast this. So here the person's like, look, well, for example, let's use Noah. They're like, so Noah, like Noah, let's assume you're a coach, or even just at Now and Then Cafe that you work at. It's like, so why do you need to come to our cafe? Well, I really like the ambience. The staff are awesome. They're exceptional, and the food is too. And you guys just treat me like I'm your best client ever, which is why I prefer to come to you guys. Contrast this to, so Cal, you should totally come to Now and Then Cafe. Come to our cafe. We've got the best food. We've got, awesome stuff. I know you may not have met everyone yet, but everyone's really cool, and we'll totally look after you. Oops, sorry, we cut out. We're back. We'll totally look after you in the event space, and you're convincing me, and at no point have you even asked me, so how does that actually sit with you? Like, do you want to? Like, is that what you want? I've just assumed. Never assume. Ask the question and listen. Jenny, you've said, great question. And then I really need to listen to the response. Yes, I find it's really, really funny. A lot of the coaches that I'm working with and some of the clients that I come across, one of their biggest challenges that they're facing, whether it's in sales calls or even in coaching sessions, is that they're not present. They're thinking about what to say next, the next thing or the next line that they need to bring up. And the challenge with that is that you miss the point. You're actually not fully present or even listening to what's going on for your client, because whatever your client gives you, they're actually trying to tell you something else. When someone tells you, when you come across friends and you're like, hey, how's everything going? They're like, yeah, everything's really good. It's really awesome. It's amazing. Yeah. Like, life's really good. When I hear that, what that tells me straight away, it's alarm bells. I'm like, there's something deeper. If someone comes out so vibrant and energetic and like everything's okay, life is a paradox. So to every up, there's a down. To every negative, there's a positive. To every high point, there's a low point. So I know that if someone comes to me and they look like everything's all good, rainbows and daffodils, I know on some level something's not right. So I listen and I'm like, So tell me more. What else is going on for you? And I just listen and they open up. Because so often people will put on a facade, but so rarely do people go the extra mile and ask people, so tell me more. People love talking about themselves, but what salespeople end up doing a lot of the time is they do all the talking. Whoever is doing the talking is doing the buying. Know that whoever's doing the talking is doing the buying. So if you are afraid of awkward silences, my suggestion and biggest advice to you is to learn to embrace them. The more silence you can create, the more dollars you are going to have coming into your business. Because if you're afraid of the silence and they're afraid of the silence and you're willing to hold out, what do you think they're going to do? They're going to fill the space. They're going to feel the silence. And whoever's doing the talking is doing the buying. So tip 1 around how to actually overcome sales objections is ask more questions and listen more. So ask more questions and listen more. So some great questions. So Jenny, we've already come up with some questions already, which are like, tell me more. Tell me more. How come? Tell me. Honestly, I say that to so many of my clients, even in my coaching sessions. I'm just like, if they throw me a random one-worded response, I'm good. I'm like, tell me more. And then I go on to step 2. I shut up and I listen. Because the more they talk, the more that they're going to buy. Now, the third tip I'm going to leave you guys away with today, and this is so crucial, is if you want to overcome sales objections, this is what you should do. Call the elephant out in the room. How often have you been in a sales conversation where it feels like you want to say something, they want to say something, but no one's really talking about it? Like, for example, let me give you an example. So time is often one. Like, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, shit, like as a client, I'm like, whoa, I'm so busy. I don't even know if I've got time for this. Now, if the salesperson is telling me, great, so do this, then do that, then do that. In my mind, I'm like, I can do that. But crap, I've still got this massive concern. I don't know how I'm going to manage the time. Now, let's contrast that example to what if they said to me, look, Cal, you sound really busy. Like, you just said to me, you've got a workshop coming up. You're going to Europe on Thursday. Yeah, I'm going to Europe. You're going to Europe on Thursday. You know, and you've got 2 booked out days. I don't know how you're going to fit this in. Like, how are you actually going to make this work? In that moment, try this on. How taken care of would you feel if they said that to you? For me, I'd be like, oh my goodness, this person gets me. They're on my team. They're not just trying to sell to me. They actually get my world. They get the fact that I'm so busy. What you do is when you call out the elephant in the room, you end up bringing down the walls and you form instant connection because you tell the other person that, hey, I get you. I get you. You've got a lot of stuff going on. Like, look, you could buy this today or you could not. Either way, I'm all good. What it communicates to the buyer is you're not attached. You're not forcing or convincing them in the sale. You're just stating the facts. And for me, this is what sales is all about. We had a half-day workshop today, guys, and since then I've had 3 sales conversations. And one of them, I actually said outright to one of the attendees, I was like, look, you say that you want to join our 10K Elite Squad, but I'm actually not convinced because what I need to see from you is I need to see some action. I need to see that you've been taking some consistent action and that you're willing to walk your talk. So what I'm going to suggest to you is that we don't do anything today. We don't sign you up today, but we have a conversation next year. Now, between now and then, I need to see that you've done A, B, C, and D. If you've done that, then what it proves to me is that you walk the talk. And in that case, you're ready to join the program. But if I don't, then I don't know if you're actually the best fit for the program. How refreshing for them, because in her mind, she was thinking, shit, I don't know if I've actually got what it takes to do this. Am I a savage? Oh my gosh, Noah, really? That makes me an honest person. Okay, everyone besides Noah, share with me, how did I do her a service as opposed to a disservice by putting that straight up on the table, nothing to hide? How did I actually serve her rather than disserve her? And Noah, I'd love to know what your thoughts are. I'm a savage? That's so cruel. I am not. You're so cute. Who have I got? I've got Tanya. Hi, Tanya. Thanks for joining us. So yeah, Jenny, let me know what your thoughts. If I had just said yes to her and just sold to her and said, yep, you can join the program and reduced all my standards, how would that have done her a disservice, do you think? That approach really gets you thinking and boom, it prompts her to take responsibility. So I know now that when we catch up in Jan, she's either stepped up or she's where she was all along. But either way, I'm not letting her come down to here, because if I let her in the program and I'm just there to make her feel safe, feel her supported, but it doesn't actually give her the impetus to go do the work. Hi, Cruz. Hi, Tanya. Just joined. Miriam, so what are we discussing here? What we're talking about today is how to overcome sales objections. And the conversation that we've just embarked on is about how it is way more important for you as a salesperson to state the elephant in the room, the doubts, the worries, the concerns that your buyer is thinking, rather than tiptoeing around the sale and not actually facing the uncertainty. Because what happens is when you can just put it out there to them and state it for what it is and you can both see it, then it's like now you can actually deal with it. It's like fear. So many of us try to push fear away, push away the anxiety. I don't want to feel that. I don't want to feel uncertain. I don't want to feel anxious. And we push it away. And the more that we push it, the more it comes back. So the trick is you got to just face it for what it is and accept it. It's exactly the same with sales. If you're sensing that there's a sense of uneasiness or uncertainty with your client because they've got some type of concern, maybe it's, that they need it. You feel like, I feel like you need to check in with your husband. Like you don't feel totally convinced. Maybe it's like, look, maybe you don't have the right resources or the right money for this right now. Or maybe it's like, it doesn't sound like you're fully committed or you're half on, half off the bus. Put that to them. They will thank you for it because they'll be so grateful that, shit, you're right. I was half on, half off the bus. I really have to make a decision now. But if they're unaware of that uncertainty, they can't address it. They can't solve it for themselves. So how to overcome sales objections is to put the elephant out there in the room, state it, like literally whatever you're thinking. If you're wondering, Cal, how do I word it in a really friendly way? Whatever you're thinking, if I asked you, so if you could say anything to your client right now, what would you say? Whatever you are about to say that. So if you're worried, like, look, I don't know if they've got the time, say, look, I don't know if you've got the time for this. You sound really busy. Say that. And then you want to ask them a question to get them to qualify why it's no longer a problem for them. So let me give you an example. So with time, look, the elephant in the room is you sound like you're really busy. You don't have time. So this is what I would say. Look, it sounds like you're really busy. You sound like you don't have a lot of time for this right now. And then I'm going to ask them a question to get them to qualify why that's no longer a problem. So I'd ask something like, so how are you actually going to make time for this? They will either tell me why it's no longer a problem, why they will make time, or they'll accept it and be like, you're right, Cal, I don't actually have time for this. Hi, Lika. Hi, Matt. And either way, they'll either step up to my standard or they won't. And if they don't, they were never going to be the right client anyway. So all along the way throughout my sales conversation, I'm constantly trying to pick out reasons why this would not be a good fit for them. And then I get them to prove why I might be wrong. And if they prove me wrong, then I'm like, okay, maybe we should work together. But if they don't give me a valid response, then I'm like, as much as they're trying to prove whether I'm the best fit for them, I'm also proving whether you're a good fit for me. Because let's be honest, running our own businesses, we've got the privilege of working with people who we enjoy working with. We do not need to work with people who are tiring, exhausting, uncommitted, not willing to follow through. That is not a great standard to hold for your business. So I'm very comfortable knowing that I'm testing them as much as they are testing me as well. Miriam, yes. Objections need to be dealt with ASAP, even before the prospect brings it up. Such a great point. You want to make sure you're both a good fit. Else you're, and then it went ... I can't see your full answer. Bugger. But you make such a great point. Guys, Miriam made such a great point, which is you got to bring up the objection before they bring it up. Hi, Rose. How are you? Because if you don't bring it up before them, then essentially they won't say this consciously, but on a subconscious level, they won't feel as taken care of. Because remember, they're coming to you because of your expertise. In your mind, in their mind, you're meant to know them better than they know themselves. Or you're meant to know their problem better than they know it themselves. So if you don't point out the road ahead, like, hey, be careful, what about this, what about that, what about that, and they let you stumble into the pothole, you fall over, and then they're like, oh, you fell over, here, let me get you up. You won't feel as taken care of as compared to if they were like, careful, there's a pothole ahead. By the way, there's another pothole 10 meters down the track. I would just be careful if I were you. And you'd be like, wow, thank you. Yes, I will now avoid that. So that's exactly what you need to do. You need to point out the elephant in the room before they bring it up themselves. Hi, Rose. So guys, we've covered a lot today. Now, this principle is actually really simple. It sounds complicated, but it's really not until you start practicing these, and you can only really practice these if you're having sales conversations. So not until you really start practicing these that you will start to notice what are the objections that your clients are bringing up. And when they bring it up, that's when you can learn to turn them into reverse qualifiers. So we teach you about reverse qualifiers and all of that stuff in the 10K Elite Squad. But for now, what I really want you guys to understand is how you can overcome sales objections and make the sales process so fun and so easy through the power of just asking some really great questions and listening. So guys, share with me before we jet off for our awesome weekend. Share with me, what have you taken away from this conversation so far? Oh my gosh, I'm so exhausted. I've been doing so much talking today. Cal, shut up. Okay, tell me more, guys. Tell me more. I'm listening. Eagerly awaiting. Hi, Jason. How are you? I'm eagerly awaiting your responses, team. And then we're jetting off for Europe on Thursday. That's it, end of 2018. Tanya, address the elephant in the room and look out for the potholes. Absolutely. And the more you can point out the potholes, the more they will acknowledge and appreciate you as the expert. The more they acknowledge you, the more trust you'll instantly build with them. Cool. Thank you so much for sharing that, Tanya. What about Noah? Noah, what are you taking away? And Jason, you've just caught us for the end of this. Make sure you rewatch it. Jenny, what have you taken away from this conversation so far? Beautiful. So let me know what your responses are. Now, guys, as my Christmas present to you guys, because I know Christmas is just around the corner, we currently, as you may or may not know, we run a 10K Elite Squad Mastermind program that we're launching January next year. It's designed to help coaches master their sales and marketing psychology to get to their first 10K month. Now, we currently have 2 spots left. If you think that is you, if you're looking for community, for support, for one-on-one personalized feedback, and you know that you're currently not experiencing that, great. What I would love to offer you is a free 30-minute business planning strategy session between you and myself, where we can actually talk about where you want to head for 2018. Now, if where you want to head is something that we can support you with, great. Then we can see if you qualify for the 10K Elite Squad. If not, we can send you the right resources. But if you would love to apply for the 10K Elite Squad and see if it's something that's a good fit for you, all you need to do is type yes, please in the comments below, and I'll reach out to you and we can organize a time to have a business planning session. Jenny, you have said, don't assume needs, listen, ask quality questions, address the elephant in the room and point out the potholes. Have an awesome trip. Boom. Wow. Awesome takeaways. They were all my key points as well. Rock forth, women. All right, team. So there you have it. This is the end of our 10-day training series. If you're just catching day 10 today, make sure you jump on back through day 1 to day 9. There was so much gold in that. Tanya, awesome. You know what? I'll message you right after this and we'll organize a time to catch up. All right, team, have a phenomenal weekend ahead, and I will chat to you guys real soon. Mwah, 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 mwah. Love you guys. Have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Mwah. Bye, team.